Hey guys, today we're talking about dividing polynomials. So yesterday we talked about adding, subtracting, and multiplying. Today we're talking about dividing. And to begin, I'm going to remind you of something you learned way back in the past, and that is dividing regular numbers using long division. Now, whenever we divide, it's made up of two parts. We have a dividend, which is the number we are dividing, and the divisor, the number we're dividing by. And we can write it with like this little house right here. On the inside of the house is the number we are dividing. On the outside is the number we are dividing by. So in this case, I'm dividing by 13. And the way this works is we have to think of how many times 13 goes into each group as we go. So let's see here. 13 goes into 17 one time. The closest we can get to 17 is 13. So we go 13 times 1 is 13. And then if you remember, we draw a line, we put our minus sign, because we're going to change it to a minus. We're going to subtract 17 minus 13 is 4, and then we keep going like this. Then I'm going to bring down my next number. I'm going to bring down this 5. And now we're going to think, how many times can 13 go into 45? And in this case, it's going to be 3. 13 can go into 45 3 times. We're going to go 13 times 3 is going to be 39. We'll draw my line, change that to a subtraction, and then we'll subtract again. 45 minus 13 is 60. And then lastly, I'll bring down this 0 all the way down to the bottom. And we'll be thinking, okay, how many times does 13 go into 60? 13 goes into 60 4 times, okay? So we're going to go 13 times 4 is 52. And change this to a minus. So we go 4 times 13 is 52. 60 minus 52 is 8. So we end up with what this at the end is called a remainder. Now, if you remember, we write our answer in a certain way. We can write our answer like this. We can go, our answer, this is called a quotient. Our quotient plus our remainder over our divisor. So we could write our answer for this one as 134 and 8 over 13, or plus 8 over 13, like that. Okay? So that is how we find our answers for these long division problems. Now, we can use the same idea to divide polynomials. It goes like this. We can say, when dividing polynomials, first off, we need to make sure that our exponents are decreasing in order. So in other words, we need to make sure they are in standard form, and we need to fill in any gaps that there are. So if I'm missing an x squared, we're going to put in a 0x squared like that. Okay? So as we go through here, we can set up our first problem. Our first problem, I'm going to set it up over here. We're going to go x squared minus 3x minus 10. That is in standard form and there's no gaps. I'm going to put my box, and we're going to write x plus 2 over here. Now, we're only going to look at my first term. So we're going to be going off of this x right here. And we're saying, okay, what do I need to multiply x by to equal x squared? So, what do I need to multiply x by to equal x squared? So I'm going to multiply x times x to equal x squared, right? And now we're going to distribute this to both of these. We're going to go x times x is x squared. X times 2 is 2x. All right. Well, now we need to subtract. We cannot forget to do this. We're not adding here, we are subtracting. So we're going to change this to a minus, and we're also going to change that to a minus. Okay? We're subtracting both of my numbers here. So I'm going to go x squared minus x squared is 0. Those cancel. Negative 3x minus 2x is negative 5x. Then I'm going to bring down my negative 10, and we're going to multiply again. We're going to think, okay, what do I need to multiply my first term here to equal my first term here? Well, to get from x to negative 5x, we're going to have to multiply by negative 5. And then we're going to take that negative 5, multiply it to both of these. So I'm going to go negative 5 times x is negative 5x. Negative 5 times 2 is negative 10. Notice I did not want it to equal plus 5 because we're going to change it whenever I subtract. So I'm going to change this to a plus, and I'm going to change this to a plus. Because that's what happens when we minus. We switch the signs of everything. So we switch the signs, now I can subtract. So negative 5x plus 5x cancels. Negative 10 plus 10 is 0. So I have a remainder of 0. So my answer is what's on the top here. My answer is going to be x minus 5 and no remainder. We'll talk about what happens with the remainder coming up. Okay, so here on the next page, we're going to write out our top one, remember, is our dividend. Our bottom one is the one we're dividing by. So first we're going to write out my top one. So I'm going to write 9x cubed plus 15x squared. And then notice I need to write in a placeholder here. A placeholder is needed because I don't have an x. We go straight from an x squared to a whole number. So we're going to write in a plus 0x here, and then we're going to have our minus 2. Okay? Because we need to keep everything in order. All right, then I'm going to build my house, and I'm going to write my divisor on the outside. So we're going to have 3x minus 1 here on the outside. Then we're going to go step by step. First thing, we're going to think, okay, what do I need to multiply 3x by to get to 9x cubed? Well, in this case, we're going to have to go 3 times 3 is 9, and x times x squared is x cubed. So we're going to write 3x squared. Then we're going to multiply. We're going to go 3x squared times 3x, and 3x squared times negative 1. 3x squared times 3x is going to give me 9x cubed, and 3x squared times negative 1 is going to be negative 3x squared. We're going to draw our line, and then we are going to subtract. We cannot to forget to subtract, okay? And so whenever we subtract, we switch the signs of each one that we are subtracting. So I'm going to switch this to a minus 9, and I'm going to switch this to a plus 3x. And I'm going to circle them to remind myself that I already switched them. Now, 9x cubed minus 9x cubed is, of course, nothing. It cancels. 15x squared plus 3x squared is 18x squared. Then I'm going to bring down my next number. Even if it's just 0, we're going to bring it down. So I'm going to bring it down. We're going to have plus 0x. Now, I'm going to think, what do I need to multiply 3x by to equal 18x squared? I'm going to go 3x times what? Well, 6 times 3 equals 18. So we're going to go 6 times 3, so we're going to go plus 6. And then x times x is x squared, so it's going to be a plus 6x on top here. So we're going to go 6x times 3x is going to give me 18x squared. Then 6x times negative 1 is going to give me negative 6x. Then we're going to switch the sign so I can subtract. So I'm going to switch this one to be a minus. I'm going to switch this to be a plus. And then we are going to combine. So 18x squared minus 18x squared is 0. 0x plus 6x is 6x. Then I'm going to bring down my negative 2, and we're going to do this one last time. Okay, so 6x minus 2, so we're going to think, what do I need to multiply 3x by for it to equal 6x? I need to multiply it by 2. 3x times 2 is 6x. Negative 1 times 2 is negative 2. Draw my line, change your sign. Draw your line, change your sign. Draw your line, change your sign. So we're going to then minus. We're going to minus here, add here. Circle them to show that we changed them. 6x minus 6x is 0. It cancels. Negative 2 plus 2. Hey, that is 0 too. So once again, I end up without a remainder. So I can even say that I have no remainder. So whatever we have up here on top is my final answer if I don't have a remainder. So I'm just going to write that out over here. 3x squared plus 6x plus 2 is my final answer. Okay? And that's how we use long division to be able to divide polynomials. Let's try number 3. Number 3, we have this guy, and once again, we're going to need to draw in a placeholder in between these two. We're going to have an x squared as a placeholder. So let's draw this out. We have a 2x to the 4th plus 3x cubed plus my placeholder of 0x squared plus 5x minus 1. And we are dividing this by our divisor, x squared plus 3x plus 2. So we're going to start off. I need to multiply x squared by 2x squared to get it to equal 2x to the 4th. So now let's multiply. 2x times x squared is 2x to the 4th. 2x squared times 3x is going to be 6x to the 3rd. And 2x squared times 2 is going to be 4x squared. Then we are going to change each one of these signs. So this is going to become a minus. This is going to become a minus. And this is going to become a minus. We're going to draw the line, change the signs. Draw the line, change the signs. Okay. 2x to the 4th minus 2x to the 4th, nothing. 3x to the 3rd minus 6x to the 3rd is going to be negative 3x to the 3rd. 0x squared minus 4x squared is going to be negative 4x squared. Now bring down your 5x, and we do it again. X squared times what equals negative 3x? Well, let's see. X squared times negative 3x equals that. So negative 3x times x squared is going to give me negative 3x cubed. Negative 3x times negative 3x is going to give me negative 9x squared. Negative 3x times 2 is going to give me negative 6x. Then we're going to draw the line, change the signs. So it's going to become a positive, a plus, it's going to become a plus, it's going to become a plus. Circle it to show that we've changed it. Now, combine like terms. Negative 3x cubed plus 3x cubed cancels. Negative 4x squared plus 9x is 5x squared. 5x plus 6x is 11x. Then we're going to bring down my last one, which is going to be a negative 1. And we are going to have to multiply this out. So we're going to say, okay, x squared times what equals 5x squared? That's just going to be a 5. So we're going to go 5 times x squared is 5x squared. 5 times 3x is 15x. 5 times 2 is 10. We're going to draw the line, change the sign. It's become a minus. This can become a minus. This is going to become a minus. So now, we subtract. 5x squared minus 5x squared is 0. 11x minus 15x is negative 4x. Negative 1 minus 10 is negative 11. Okay, here's the deal. X squared cannot go into 4x. It's too big now. So this is now just a remainder. So this is my answer, but this is my remainder. So pay close attention. This is how we write our answer. This is our main answer. We're going to write that out. 2x squared minus 3x plus 5. That's my main part of my answer. However, next, we're going to write my my remainder. So we're going to write plus a negative 4x minus 11 divided by my divisor, which is going to be x squared plus 3x plus 2, and that is going to be my answer. Okay, our last problem here. Number 4. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to write out what I'm dividing by and go from there. Okay, so we're going to write out 2x to the 4th minus 6x cubed plus x squared minus 3x minus 3. And we're going to divide this by x minus 3. Okay, now let's multiply this out. X times 2x to the 3rd is 2x to the 4th. So we're going to multiply 2x to the 3rd times x is 2x to the 4th. 2x to the 3rd times negative 3 is negative 6x to the 3rd. Draw the line, change the sign. So we're going to change this one to a minus, this one to a plus. 2x to the 4th minus 2x to the 4th, these cancel. Negative 6x cubed plus 6x cubed, those cancel too. So they just cancel out. Okay, well now I'm going to need to bring down two numbers. I'm going to need to bring down this x squared, and I'm going to need to bring down this minus 3x. Okay, now let's do this again. Let's go x times what equals x squared? X times x equals x squared. So x times x is x squared. X times negative 3 is negative 3x. Draw the line, change the sign. This can become a minus. This can become a plus. X squared minus x squared is 0. Negative 3x plus 3x is 0 as well. So now, those cancel out. We're just going to bring down my negative 3 there. X cannot go into negative 3, so negative 3 is just going to be my remainder. So now I'm just going to write out my final answer, and my final answer is just going to be 2x cubed plus x, right? That comes from right over there, minus or plus a negative 3 over what we were dividing by, which was x minus 3. So that one, it looks like a really hard problem, but it turned out to be quite easy. All right, guys, hope this has been helpful. Don't fret about division. Just try your best. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks, guys.